My mission in playing music and delivering it to the Columbus community is bigger than just come see a concert. There are connections that bring us together in terms of our unique similarity in humanity. Our humanity that's a place where it can grow and come together. You leave and you're changed. There's something different that happens. 50 years means that you have a legacy. And that also means, once again, that word, responsibility. It's planting seeds in a garden that you never get to see. I feel that what we do educationally is exactly that. So why do we do this? Why do we do education? It's for those who don't necessarily always feel comfortable in every class in school. We have to fulfill this gap where people have said, no more music because we can't afford it. To me, that's like saying, no more heart. Let's dispense with happiness, right? When you take music away, or theater, or drama, or all those beautiful artistic things, no more drawing. You're on your own now, figure it out. See, when we have art, we can use art as a delivery system for hope and healing and love and passion and all of those things.
I was very lucky to be around when Hank Marr was still here. And I went to his house a few times, and I always wanted to have lessons with him. And he said, just come over to my house and I'll try to show you what I can. And having that kind of mentorship, a very organic mentorship, I think is so essential to the longevity of this music, because it's very interactive. I mean, you can listen to as many records as you want, but unless you get real experience performing with older musicians, getting your butt whooped a little bit on the bandstand, and gaining that kind of wisdom and knowledge that's so essential to the legacy.
For jazz, if we can engage these people when they're young, which is our responsibility to keep this music going, that's part of our mission, is the education component of it. If you have a powerful musical experience when you're younger, and typically that's just seeing a concert, see, because the thing and the distinction that's really important to remember is that what we sell, if you want to call it selling, what we sell is invisible. It's not tangible in the traditional ways. You can't hold music in your hand. I mean, you can hold a CD or a record. Of course, now it's virtual, so you're really not holding anything. So what we're selling is something that is invisible. We sell feelings. And so our idea is that when people come, is that there's a piece of hope, there's a piece of healing within what we do. And so our goal is to, and the legacy of now 50 years, is to continue that, but even take it up a notch, or 2 or 3 or 1,000.
Music is so much a part of my being. It has become so ingrained into my life, into my everyday lifestyle, and into who I am. Everywhere I am, I'm either listening to something, or I'm humming something, or I'm playing something. My time with Jazz Arts Group had started in 2013 in the fall, going on 9 quick years, 9 eventful years, 9 great years with the organization. Starting in the Youth Jazz Workshop Ensemble. After that, I was in the studio ensemble, and then finally getting to the pinnacle of the youth program, which is the Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra. Around 2018 or so, I think, like my senior year in high school, they asked me to do a little bit of teaching with them, which was really such a positive representation of my time well spent at Jazz Arts Group, and working up and getting to the point and building my confidence and refining my skills in both, again, performing and teaching, to be able to get to that point, to be able to teach, to be able to talk to kids the way that at one point Mark Donovan, Ryan Hamilton, and Zach Thompson spoke to me.
When you're playing music, it's something that forces one to make negotiations and compromises if you're playing in an ensemble especially, knowing when it's time for you to shine or stick out, knowing when it's time to be supportive, when to be bold, when to be more in the background, and understanding the essential nature of teamwork and working together. In a way that I think, as great as sports are, you have some of those same ideals in sports. But in music, I don't necessarily think it's about the competitive nature of music. It's more about the communication. Learning how to communicate in a very rich and varied way. I think there is certainly a lot that can be learned from that.
Every person in the Columbus Jazz Orchestra is a virtuoso on their instrument. This thing of practicing and refining and shaping and molding and sculpting your craft, that's what we are. We're craftsmen. So you have to have your credentials to stand on stage. If you want an audience to leave you, don't have your credentials. People are expecting something from you. They don't know all the nuance to what you do and how you got there, but they know if it feels good to them. When people see the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, which is drawn from people in this community, those same people are also the ones that are making dynamic things happen in the Southern Theater every time we perform. And some of them teach a little bit, some of them are solely musicians who, after they finish with us, that next Monday they had another nightclub, and then they go to a concert venue, then they drive an hour here and they play a concert there. So they make their livings solely as musicians. We have a system through the Columbus Jazz Orchestra here and the organization of the Jazz Arts Group that provides a place for musicians to grow, but to showcase their talents. That's all any artist wants. Is we just want a place to showcase and make people feel good, and Columbus provides that.
It's so interesting to think about where I might be, but I know that Jazz Arts Group has really just provided so many opportunities. Number one, a place to play and a place to meet other fellow musicians at that age that are in middle school and high school, but also the opportunity to meet the professionals who do it big time, who do it legitimately, who are part of the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, people like Byron Stripling. Just to be around those kinds of folks is really special. It's a confidence builder. It's something where we're able to witness what this is really like. And then we can go home, or we can have our own performances when we're younger and pretend to be in their shoes and apply what we saw and attempt to be that. That is the incredible benefit that comes with being associated with Jazz Arts Group. That came with my association with Jazz Arts Group. If we hadn't had that, if we were in any other city, if Jazz Arts Group wasn't in Columbus, I can't say I'd be the musician I am.